welcome to the Pro Crastinators podcast. Bonus episode.
Wait, no.
No, it's gotta be.
Yeah,
anyway.
That? Is that meta time? Don't know what that is.
Spider dance. You know, the
spooky
one.
Yeah.
The spooky one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking startled right now.
Yo, bro, I got to get my scare on, if you know what I'm saying.
The intention with this episode is we're releasing it one day early, so it'll come out on Halloween, so that you all can treat yourselves to a spooky evening of PCP shit, and we'll be able to sell it on Halloween and make more money.
Yeah. Just in time for us to turn a tidy little profit. Just in time for us to monetize, quote unquote, monetize the audience, if you know what I'm saying.
What is scarier than capitalism?
That's true. He's right. He's right. So today, we've, ladies and ghouls, we've gathered around. We've prepared some spooky stories, each of us. And so we're going to gather around the campfire here and tell them. And it's going to be a real rip-roaring time.
Yeah. I agree.
Good. Well, that being said, who wants to go
I want to say that I have no particular opinion as to the quality of my stories, which I definitely know what they are in advance. I definitely have. I definitely take no blame. I definitely assign right away all responsibility for their contents.
Yeah.
Shall I begin?
Please do.
All right. So here's the story that I just made up. Sing along if you know the words. Okay. Oh god. This is gonna suck. I just
now
know
that's
it.
scary. Stage fright.
Have you ever seen a photo reCAPTCHA? Instead of a checkbox, it's a low-quality photo split into 16 square sections. It'll say something like, select all squares with street signs, and you have to click every square that contains a street sign. Yeah. So at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, I got one while downloading free stock images. It was a photo of a path through the forest. Select all squares with people. Okay, that was easy enough. In the center, there was a jogging woman in pink shorts. She took up a few of the middle squares, and I clicked them all. I pressed verify. It didn't work. Select all squares with people, the message said again. I took off my glasses, placed them on the table, and squinted at the image. No, she wasn't the only person. Several feet off the trail, at the very edge of the image, I could see it. The edge of an arm clad in a black sweatshirt with a pink thumb poking out. I triumphantly clicked the two squares containing it. Verify. The image blinked as it refreshed. Then the same text popped up, as if to taunt me. Select all squares with people. I rubbed my eyes and stared at the image. The trees cast low-resolution, blocky shadows across the path. The woman's ponytail swung to the left mid-motion. Patches of yellow sunlight dappled the surrounding forest. I studied some of the darker shadows, far from the path, but none of them matched the silhouette of a person. I glanced to the edge of the image. No. The image had changed. The arm at the edge of the photo was now further in the frame, taking up 3 squares instead of 2. Bulky shoulders and dark jeans followed it. And the jogger was just slightly further down the path, as if she'd just taken a step. The touchpad was slick under my fingers. My heart pounded in my chest. Slowly, I dragged the cursor over the 3 squares and clicked them all. Verify! The image blinked. Select all squares with people! I leapt back from the computer. The image was different again. The man was further in the frame, taking up 5 squares. His hand stretched out toward the jogger, just inches from her shoulder. And the jogger, she was turned toward him, eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream. Click, click, Click! I furiously clicked all the squares. Verify! Loading. Select all squares with people. The man's face was finally in frame. The hood of his sweatshirt was pulled tightly over his head. A translucent Halloween mask poked out from underneath, pressed against his features. His hand was latched onto her arm. She was screaming. Click, click, click. Verify. The image disappeared. I'd passed the reCAPTCHA. I reported what I'd seen to the police. At first, they thought I was crazy, but as I gave a detailed description of the images, they frantically took notes and asked me questions. The woman matched the description of a local woman, Kaylee Johnson. She went missing a week ago, during an afternoon jog on the wooded Lakewood Trail. She was never found. Exit stage left. Bow. Bow. Yeah.
Well, there's a classic internet horror story there.
It's just a classic tale of how technology has gone too far and how we need to return to a state of nature.
That's what it, yeah.
We spend all our days being asked by robots to prove that we are not robots. And it's fucked up.
It takes up 95% of our brain power every single day.
While they're trying to prove that we're not robots, the robots are learning how to be not robots as well.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's scary.
You think they're just twiddling their thumbs while we're spending 99% of our waking hours proving our humanity to them? I don't think so.
Well, all right.
So that was last night I got a reCAPTCHA. There was something horribly wrong with it. By me.
Right.
Ben.
Yeah.
By Lauren
Ben.
Faust.
Yeah, me.
Ben,
It's all
I'm
all
on
me.
you. I saw that episode of My Little Pony where that happened.
with the haunted reCAPTCHA.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that was in Equestria Girls, actually.
Shit. Okay. Well, fair enough.
Makes sense.
Who wants to go next? Who else wants to?
Nate
Wait. You know what we should do? We should rate each other. We should rate each other's scary stories.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that we'd have the audience vote in a straw poll for their favorite. What do you think?
No.
No?
Okay.
no.
Life's a competition, Mage. You have to get used to it. You have to get used to tasting that bitter dirt of defeat.
Why can't we just all hold hands and sing Kumbaya?
Because you'll starve to death.
If we leave it to the audience, to the audience to decide, then what do we talk about?
Nothing.
we do not talk. We just entertain.
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we should. I think we should rate each other. But we can also let the audience vote. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll decide that. Okay. I give that story.
I do. How
I
spooky.
basically heard it before. I saw that episode of My Little Pony. I give it. It wasn't terrible. I give it like a 4 out of 10.
It was. It was all in the telling. It was all in the telling.
I give it 3 chicken wings out of a bucket.
That's not very many.
Harsh.
That's not very many
harsh,
chicken wings.
It's quite a few. In
The
that
last bucket I had was at least a dozen.
I'll give it.
I think they
I'll give
threw
it a
some extra in there too.
Solid C+. C+.
It's a passing grade. Right.
Well, I would give my own story. I would give it. I think it kind of had like a solid hook, but the end sucks. End is. It's like the whole story is building up like, oh man, something's wrong with this CAPTCHA. Is it a ghost? Is there a ghost? Is something paranormal happening?
He should have died.
Is
but
she
then
going
how he would have told the story if he had died. So.
Is she going to die? And then the ending, the twist at the end is there was a ghost. It was paranormal, and yes, she did die. It was spooky, just as you thought, viewer.
Yeah.
His computer should have died.
So that's weak.
It should have been him under the mask.
Why
didn't you write it that way, Ben?
There's no twist. There was no surprise.
It should have been the ring except CAPTCHA form. The CAPTCHA. 7 days. You're gonna die unless you send the CAPTCHA to your friends.
Yeah.
Every time the CAPTCHA gets bigger, it pops out of the screen.
Hey, maybe we can rewrite each other's stories to make them spookier. What if she runs? She runs, and maybe she runs like, maybe at the end she like runs out of the reCAPTCHA and like the hand reaches out and like she gets away and like it grabs him instead, and like he ends up like trapped. He's
That's
like the
neat.
next victim or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Guys,
but then how
guys,
would that? Okay, all
Guys,
right.
I absolutely hate this because it's almost midnight here, and I'm gonna go to sleep right after this. So thanks, guys. Thanks for living all the way in a different time zone.
Well, I mean, you literally agreed, so I
Sorry,
take zero responsibility.
Buckaroo.
Well,
Sorry.
it's not like you could have
Boya.
made it on a different time, so don't.
This is
pretend.
not.
That's
This is not the
basically
time. This is not the time to complain. We scheduled this well in advance.
Yeah, you had a week to complain, or several days. Okay, well,
It's
whatever.
scary how much you're complaining about this, Mage.
let me tell a quick story because I prepared a couple of small stories. So let me just slide one in here. Okay, all right. This is one of my favorites. Okay. So I'm at the club, find a slut, and I
Yeah.
take her home,
Oh,
and
God.
I'm fucking a bitch.
Oh, the
I'm
dread.
fucking-
The dread is
fucking a
building.
bitch.
This is scary already. I'm
Yes.
thinking about
So-
Nate fuck.
Okay, so that's how it starts. All right, it seems like any other typical day for me.
I'm gonna throw
However,
up. I'm gonna throw up
Things
from
take
fear.
a dark turn. Things take a dark turn when I wake up the next morning, and she's still there. Ah! Oh, okay, and then
Nate, I
and
have
then
to know. Is this
I've
based on a
heard
true story?
I've
and
heard
then
this story.
oh god, too real, Ben. And then I say to her, hey, I gotta go. I got work early, and she's like, no, how about we go get breakfast together? And then I say, no, you don't understand. It's way across town. You know, I really got to get going. I got to head out. And she's like, no problem. I'll give you a ride. It's on the way to my kid's preschool. Now that's
die.
a scary story, if
can't.
ever there was one.
I can't go on.
I know exactly the same story. I know. I've heard this. I know where you got it
I
from.
stole
but
it from Family Guy. It's a Quagmire story.
Is it?
He tells around the
Oh,
fire.
okay.
Yep. Also my actual life, though. So
Yeah.
It matches.
Relatable.
okay, there's
relatable.
my first story.
Wow. Stellar.
Indeed.
You managed to kill a whole minute and a half with that one.
Well, that was my goal, and I succeeded.
How are we gonna fucking keep this hamster wheel spinning while we pull the wool over the viewer's eyes? Look, just like the AI, just like the robots are keeping humanity occupied, we're keeping them occupied while we reach around and put our hands into their fucking wallets. Yeah. Viewer, you are
true.
being robbed as we speak. Do
To the
not
audience,
turn
what
around.
Are we? What are we but mere, how could they ever know that we're not AIs that just perform this? How many times have we
Functionally,
talked
might,
about how
we
great
might
it
as
would
well
be if we could just create that algorithm that generates PCP episodes automatically?
I've been trying. I've been trying to hack the mainframe for so long.
That
Wait, what do
reminds me of a thought I sometimes have. This is not my spooky story, but I thought it was kind of relevant because it is kind of spooky. Like, I have, like, very often I have deja vu. And I think to myself, like, this is just a theory that I don't even believe in myself, but it's a fun theory to consider. Like, what if I'm reliving my life, and because something horrible happened in my life that I have to relive it all over again, but because I'm having deja vu, it's a sign that I'm reliving the same exact life. So that means I'm still heading to this chaotic event that caused me to go back in time.
Are you talking like currently, like right this very moment? You're not actually living this, but like you like
no. Like,
your life is flashing before your eyes, and that's what you're currently experiencing.
No. I'm reliving my life a second time, like I'm like a do-over, a replay. Let's say
like your soul's in a time loop or something.
Yeah, kind of like
some.
It's heading for a disaster that I'm apparently not avoiding due to my deja vu, because deja vu is a hint that, like, shit, fam, you already lived this. That's bad.
If you interpret deja vu as kind of a warning about something, then I suppose that makes some sense.
It happens when they change something in the Matrix.
This is why I struggle to an extent with scary things, because my bullshit detector just goes way off the charts when I hear shit like this.
I love spooky shit. Like, I don't believe in it, but I really like it. It's fun.
Sure, okay.
Mage, do you live on r/no sleep? That seems like your jam.
No, I don't. I actually,
you
don't.
should.
I never read it. Like, I can't because, like, if I get too invested, one day, I decided to watch YouTube videos related to, like, ghost sighting and stuff. And, like, throughout the day, the whole day, from morning till evening, I watched the videos. And I was fine, but then I tried to go to sleep, and I was absolutely petrified. I laid in bed, wide awake, Couldn't move. I don't know what I was scared, but I just couldn't move.
You think you're fine. You think you're fine, and then you try to go to bed, and suddenly it's like, oh no.
I didn't even have anything to be scared of. I just couldn't move.
That's how my brain works. I'm very selective with the scary stories that I can put up with, because my brain just goes haywire, and then I'm just like, well, shit.
Yeah, sometimes I get too invested in things.
It's always like a figure for me. Like I watched I can't remember. Something, god damn it. Someone's Game. It's a movie. It's a Stephen King book. Gerald's Game. That's what it was. Oh, yeah. And it's a good movie. I recommend it. And it's about a lady who gets tied to a bed. She's sexually doing some stuff. And gets handcuffed to it. When her husband dies on top of her, and she has to deal with that. But it's very much a horror movie. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah. I heard about it.
The monster though in it is it's they call him the Moon Man. And she begins to hallucinate, and all kinds of weird things happen as she goes for like days without water and stuff. And the figure of the Moon Man is truly horrific.
The Moon Man.
They call him, the Moon Man, and he has the eclipse in his eyes.
Whoa!
It's real,
dude. If that were science fiction, it'd be way cool. But because it's not, it's scary as fuck.
I guess that it's just that.
That's actually, you just described my first D&D character.
Yeah. Whenever I watch a scary movie, I do the thing where I run from safe room to safe room in my living establishment really fast. Because in the bathroom I'm safe with the door closed, but in the hallway, he's gonna get me.
Oh no, you're not safe in the bathroom. It has mirrors.
That's true.
I used to. For a long time. I used to sleep with my head under the covers because I was scared. Because I felt exposed and vulnerable and scared. And it was like, say there is something dangerous in the room with me. Like, obviously covering my head with a sheet isn't going to do anything. I just feel exposed and scared with my head. So I would cover my head, even if it was hot. And it really sucked, because, like, if it was hot, I'd have to cover my head, but it's too hot, and but if I don't, I'm too scared. And
Tom.
This lasted until I was an adult. Like it faded only very gradually. Like it only like past college, and it didn't like stop suddenly. I don't know exactly. I don't feel like this anymore. But I feel like it was relatively recently. I don't know.
I know the sensation.
It was gradual. It was a gradual change. I don't really feel this way anymore. But I can't put my finger on when.
I can sort of relate. Tom, can you like relate to what I'm about to say? Like because tall boys, one where like we have the sheet over us, like with a blanket, feet stick out, and it's the spookiest things. It's just like it's so far away.
Benefits of being a manlet.
Then you gotta like curl up so you can stay under all the covers, but then it's just like this isn't comfortable.
Yeah. Do you ever
pick your poison?
Do you ever sleep diagonally to fit on the bed?
Yes, always. My favorite pose.
You just got too much length for to sleep orthogonally. Are you kidding me?
No,
I gotta bisect that on the diagonal.
You never go full ortho.
I didn't used to sleep diagonally, but like in recent times, for some reason, it's so comfy. I like it. It's fun. But then boyfriend comes in, like he needs sleep, and it's like, how dare you? How dare you make me move?
Well, all right. Let's go on to our next story. Who's up next? Who's got one? I guess Major Tom.
I guess I could, or Tom, do you want to?
Whoa, you guys collectively, your ship is Major Tom, like David Bowie.
Whoa!
Oh no. Not ship names.
Okay. Well, what do you got?
Tom.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much from you, so you go. You go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my story is that it takes place in a world not too dissimilar from our own, and it all begins on a cold autumn night, and there's a bunch of people gathered around, watching the TV, waiting desperately for news to come through. Everybody is deeply focused on what's going on screen. And all of a sudden, the news comes in. Donald Trump was elected president! Oh my god!
The worst timeline.
That was
Thank God we don't live in that world, am I right?
That's true.
What could be more terrifying?
Thank God every day.
Oh,
Thank God we live in the best of all worlds, where I remember sitting down and watching that map of the U.S. turn blue, state after one after another.
No, it didn't turn blue. As every state, one by one, they all
Purple.
turn yellow. And it's
Purple.
fucking Jeb, 100% across the board. We're here. We've made it.
Yeah.
Jeb Brand is a
Jeb.
write-in candidate and crushed it.
Oh,
Nice.
thank God.
Nice.
Yeah.
Purple though.
Purple.
See,
I bet
purple's
you-
what happens when you mix red and blue together, and we all know the Democrats and Republicans are never going to agree on shit.
No,
Yeah,
purple
this is-
happens. Purple
this
happens
is-
when Mage is around.
Well, we need you. We need you. We need you.
We need
to
the
bring us
violent
together.
violence as president of America.
We do need
Ground
a violent
control
unification of
to
our
Major Tom.
ever fragmenting political discourse. We
Something, and may God's love be with you. Ground control to Major Tom. A single tear.
Stop.
It's beautiful.
Um,
Not allowed.
I've got a real story I can give.
Okay.
That's not
I
a
found a
joke.
story as well, but we can go after. I'll go
It's,
after.
it's my turn
Okay.
now, though.
it
Oh,
is
yeah,
Major's
sure, go
turn.
ahead.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. So, a quick explanation. So, what I'm gonna tell you guys is, I believe a Brother Grimm story, but it was written in Lithuanian, so I'm gonna have to, live translate it for y'all.
Cool.
So I'm not
Hardcore.
reading it out. I am translating it as I'm telling the story. And the reason I decided to pick one is because these are the type of stories I grew up as a kid, with as a kid. So to me, this is just kind of mundane, but I thought it would be kind of neat to share with you guys
Yeah.
what I grew up with.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Hell
please.
yeah.
Agreed.
Yes, please.
This specific story isn't one I heard in my childhood, but it's very, very similar to what I
So
used to
is
read.
this just like I don't know, just like a fucking
It's
I don't
a
know.
fairy tale.
Yeah, what would I don't know, what would be like a scary story that we'd just grow up with? I'm blanking.
I mean, I always think of that one that's the "Who's got my golden arm?" It's not really a classical tale, though.
That's like a
is it?
campfire story, not a fairy tale.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Anyway, yeah, I'm very interested.
Okay, so I'm kind of nervous. So I'm really sorry if I screw up. This
Take your
is
time.
Ah.
Fix it in post.
You
You're the
gotta
editor.
translate
that's true.
your weird, weird Lithuanian meats or something. You gotta convert them into eggs and
Well,
bacon.
good old
Just-
American
just
hamburgers.
whenever some exotic Lithuanian dish comes up that we Amerifats can't pronounce, just say eggs and bacon.
Excellent.
Just translate
Okay.
it to cheeseburger.
Okay, I'm nervous. Okay. Okay. So, once upon a time, there was in a kingdom far away, there lived a giant boar in a.
Dude, I saw fucking Princess Mononoke. Get the fuck
No,
out of
no,
here.
it's not Princess Mononoke. The boar rampaged throughout the kingdom, destroying crops and killing any human that got in its way. Without knowing what to do, the king offered his only daughter's hand in marriage to the person who manages to slay the boar. Two brothers set out on a quest to slay the boar. The older one decided to do it for the glory, and the younger one just did it out of the kindness of his heart. The two separated. The two parted ways, and tried to find the boar on their own. The younger brother came across a dwarf, and and realizing how pure the heart was of the younger brother, the dwarf gave him a spear that could kill the demonic boar.
Can I interject?
Yes.
Are dwarves is there anything different about Lithuanian dwarves? I feel like I
in
feel
my
like they might
mind,
have
very
some,
much so, because they're more
Yeah.
I feel like they're more like gnomes than dwarves, but the word is dwarf translated, and it's very funny to me personally, because when I grew up with the word dwarf, the Lithuanian word dwarf, I just imagined
Yeah.
silly little gnomes, but then I came to the English speaking people, and the dwarfs are all rough and tough and living underground and
Tolkien dwarves, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very
I feel so it's like there's dwarves in The Witcher, right? Like The Witcher is like, I don't know, I haven't played any of the Witcher games, but like I know that like it's got like an Eastern European folklore.
Yeah, it's Polish, so
yeah.
I don't know about Polish folklore, but to me, yeah. So basically, rather than a dwarf, it's a gnome.
Okay.
Yes. So they gave him the spear. He gave him the spear that was able to slay the demonic boar. So he took the spear, and of course, when he came across the boar, he slayed it, splitting its heart in two.
Nice.
So as he was dragging the corpse of the boar back home to prove as proof to his deed, he came across a tavern in which his older brother was having a drink. The two met, and the older brother offered him a drink. And during that time, he learned that the younger brother had succeeded in his quest. So the older brother decided to kill his younger brother and bury his corpse under the bridge. So once the deed was done, he took the boar back and proclaimed himself as the killer of the boar, and told that his younger brother was slain by the boar back in the woods. So the king gave away his daughter.
Watch out, Nate. Watch
got
out.
married.
This is true to life.
They got married, and they live happily ever after. Or
all right, good story.
Not exactly. Sometime later, a young herder came across a bone. He picked up the bone and decided to whittle it away and make a whistle out of it. But as he blew the whistle, instead of hearing a sound, he heard echoes of a voice that told the story of the slain younger brother. The herder took this whistle to the king, and the king ordered his men to dig under the bridge to find proof of what the story was telling. Mm-hmm. What they dug up was the corpse of the younger brother, meaning that the story the whistle was telling was true. So they took the older brother, the one that killed him, they tied him up in a bag and drowned him. The end.
Whoa.
Got him.
And this is what I grew up with.
So there was a
nice.
Okay. So the older brother killed the younger brother, but like one of his bones like came up through the ground or something. Like someone just found one of his bones and he carved a whistle. And when he tried to blow the bone as a whistle, the whistle told the story that my older brother killed me for the glory.
This was quite clear, Ben, in the telling of the tale.
I'm just making it 100%.
Okay.
The thing I like about these fairy tales, you don't think too hard about them. It just roll with them. There's a lot of
the story: don't kill your brother.
Basically,
it's a story about honesty and the how you can meet your maker and have to pay the price if you're deceptive and you take advantage of the achievements of others. Inevitably, the truth will come back to bite you.
Basically, a lot of stories, a lot of the fairy tales that I grew up are, kind of be honest, be kind, be good, be friendly sort of things, or else you'll die.
I think I'm going to go on a limb and say that rather than the dishonesty, it was probably the murder that was the true sin. The true sin for which he must be punished.
It's betrayal. It's your brother. Why? Why do you spill your own blood?
Yeah, man. It's fucked up.
Agreed.
I'm glad they're both dead. Their whole bloodline is cursed. One of them became a whistle zombie, and the other was a murderer.
And he drowned, and he probably has his own story somewhere of haunting people.
Who knows what his bones did? went on to achieve.
It's true.
No good, I'm sure.
Kind of, cool xylophone made of his ribcage that turns you, gay or something.
In episode 17A, Scratchy plays Itchy's ribs like a xylophone. He strikes the same bone twice in succession, yet he produces two clearly different tones.
How do you explain this, showrunners? How?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Enough fucking around. Let's get to some spooky stories here, people.
I got another one.
Okay, lay it on.
I got another one. This is a true story that happened to me. This is not... I didn't write this. This just happened. This literally just happened yesterday, so don't even worry about it.
Okay.
So when I was 9, my mother crawled into bed with me. I had been sleeping, but when I felt her hot, bitter breath on my back, I woke up. I was instinctively tense. 9 was too old for cuddles. Something was wrong.
Disagree.
I'm going to cut my wrists, she whispered. I tried to curl in tighter, but she wrapped her arms around me. My eyelids were clenched, and I tried to pretend to be asleep. I'm going to kill myself, and it'll be all your fault. Her skin on my body felt like wet fish. I did my best to hold it. No, this happened. No, fuck you.
No. I mean, it's not accurate to say it'll be all your fault, because that's...
Well, are you calling her a liar?
I'm calling her a fucking liar.
Oh my god, dude. I just got a super spooky...
I would never call a woman a liar,
dude, there was
under any circumstances.
There was just a super spooky thunderclap out my window.
I heard it.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah,
okay.
I did.
Well, I hope it picked up on the
That's
microphone.
God saying #trust women, and I do.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Lesson learned.
Okay, don't fuck around. Okay. I did my best to hold in my tears. Ben, are you awake? I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to tear my veins apart.
Whoa.
She lay there, whispering to me about killing herself for hours, or maybe minutes, but it felt so long. But it felt so long. What? Who the fuck? I mean, yeah, this happened. Yeah. Finally, she kissed the back of my neck and unwrapped her arms. Goodbye, baby. I didn't sleep after she left. I just stayed in the fetal position, crying softly into my knees, hoping that she was telling the truth. What the fuck?
Wait,
yeah. I mean,
is this his mom or his sister?
This is his mom. This is my mom.
Right. Okay.
Your mom. Our mom. Yeah. When I was 15, I started seeing a therapist. It was my mother's suggestion, ironically.
Wait, so she didn't die?
I guess not, apparently.
Well, what? Okay.
Wait, hoping that she was telling the truth? What the fuck?
Ben, this happened to you.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. It was, sometimes you just do crazy things and you don't remember them, and then you gotta reconstruct them later, and you think your name was Ryan, and, there was a doctor who specialized in whatever I was supposed to have. What brings you to therapy, Ben? The doctor asked. My mother has been tormenting me for my entire life. The words tumbled out so easily. I told the doctor about how she used to sleep with me, telling me all the horrible ways she was going to kill herself. In the morning, she always denied it. It made me feel insane. Once I was old enough, I got a lock for my door. She would scratch at the wood, moaning about killing herself, drowning, hanging, gunshots. She picked a new one every day. I was always tired because I couldn't sleep. And why did you choose to come see me now? I closed my eyes. Because it's gotten worse. The threats of suicide? I felt my muscles tighten. Now she doesn't speak. She writes notes and pushes them under the door. Sometimes there's blood on them. Sometimes water. Sometimes urine. Gross. I took a deep breath in. But it's not about killing herself anymore. No? Now it's about killing me.
Oh.
When I was 22, my girlfriend broke up with me. She said she didn't want to be with someone who didn't love his mother. At least that's what she texted me. I tried to call her, but she didn't answer, so I resorted to texting back. Amanda, please, I want to explain why I don't talk to my mother. There's no reason to ignore your mother, Ben. She abused me for my entire childhood. She tortured me. She still tortures me. You were abused? You never told me. I'm coming over. Amanda arrived with tears in her eyes, apologizing and kissing... What the fuck? I recoiled, imagining my mother in my bed. Amanda sat across from me and wiped her eyes. I'm here for you. I'm so sorry. Tell me happened. That was an intentional typo that I put in for flavor. I hesitated. I never wanted to expose another person to my baggage. You know how we only spend the night at your place? That's because my mother comes to my apartment every night and taps on the window. She stands there naked, mouthing words to me.
Yeah.
I've tried calling the cops, but they always come too late. I can't believe no one else has seen her. She just stands there, mouthing it to me. But I can see what she's saying. Amanda lifted a hand to touch me, but pulled it back. What is she saying? She says, I want you dead, just over and over. I shivered a little. Amanda tucked her hair behind her ear, confused. But doesn't your mom live in Florida? She must have followed me here. I don't know where she is. I've blocked her number. Ryan, have you ever considered that the woman outside your window isn't your mom? Well, then who is she? When I was 30, I lived in an apartment in a big city. I had roommates hold on. Yeah, okay. I had roommates and dark curtains. No girlfriend, but that was fine. I didn't want anyone to get close to me. I thought all these precautions would keep me safe from her, but she found a way in. I'd fall asleep and she'd be there, in my dreams, her naked body against mine, melting into me. I would try to call for help, but I was trapped in this in-between place. I'm going to slaughter you, she said in a sticky, slippery voice. I'll make you wish you never came out of me. We'll both be swallowed up in blackness. Every night, the same dream. I often thought of killing myself, but I knew that's what she wanted. I had just woken up from one of my night terrors, and there was a knock on my bedroom door. Dude, your mom's here. It was one of my roommates. I cringed. My initial reaction was to find a way out, maybe out the window, but something finally kicked in and I stood up. I don't know how she found me, but I wanted to face her. I wanted to confront her about all those years of agony. I put on some clothes and walked to the front door. A woman stood in the doorway. She was old and small. She looked tired. Ben, I need to speak to you. You need to speak to me? I was near screaming out of frustration. I want you to be out of my life. Stop coming where I live. Stop showing up in my dreams. I don't know how you... Dreams? You've been having them too? I stopped and stared at her. I realized for the first time that she was scared. She looked on the verge of tears. Ryan, you have to stop tormenting me. What are you talking about? Ever since you were a child, you've been terrorizing me, telling me you want to kill yourself, threatening to murder me, stalking me anywhere I go, and now I'm having dreams. Ben, why are you doing this? No, you did those things to me. You tortured me. Sorry this story is dragging. It's almost over. We both looked at each other. I was overcome with memories of my hideous life, and in them all was my mother. My mother, who never aged in my dreams, who showed up at my window as the same age as when I was a boy. She never got older. She was always my mom from when I was 9. But this woman in front of me had aged. She was older and worn out, just like me. I was trying to figure it all out when my mother spoke. It couldn't have been you, could it? I'm seeing 9-year-old you, not the man I see today. I never thought about it. Then who... what... And that was when we noticed the 2 shadow people step out from behind the door.
Is that the end?
Yeah, I guess that's the end.
Of your story.
That's the end of the story that happened. Yeah,
I'll keep
it.
I like how it ended when you were 30.
Yeah.
Ben's 30.
I like how
this happened yesterday. Look, this is what happened yesterday.
From 9 to 30 yesterday.
Yeah, 2 shadow people stepped out from behind the door, and I'll let you know when I have more to tell you about that.
Okay, good.
Prove to me that you're not the shadow person.
I would if I could.
Ben is not Ben, confirmed. That's why you keep thinking you're Ryan.
That story was interesting, and I liked it.
It
really fell apart at the end.
I mean, the whole story is like set up.
Oh,
whoa! Was that a dog?
That was
who lives with me.
A bark.
Oh, was that Sashomaru?
God of the underworld.
That is Lord Sashomaru, who is a demon.
Sorry, Lord.
Demon.
Sorry, Lord Sashomaru.
Yes, thank you.
What if we got him a little stuffed Tetsaiga? Or no?
That's a good idea.
He didn't have.
Tenseiga.
Yeah. Oh, they probably don't sell those. Nobody cares about.
Nobody cares about Tenseiga. That's true.
Okay, so like the whole story was set up to a twist that isn't even revealed in the end.
I mean, the twist is that shadow people are real, and they fucked with these 2 people's relationship in a very specific way.
Yeah,
but
the
why?
twist is that...
Like, what's the point?
Watch out for shadow people.
The twist is that there were 2... It's like, oh, what's happening? Well, what's this creature that's tormenting me? Is it my mom? Maybe it's not my mom. Then who is it? Oh, my mom's here. Mom, why are you tormenting? Oh, you're being tormented too. Oh, who's been tormenting us? Oh, it's 2 demons. 2 demons have been doing the evil things.
I would have preferred if it had been 1 rather than 2, because now I'm thinking of like why.
It's the same thing.
No, but why 2? Why did they team up to torment these 2 people? Like, if it was just 1, it would be just one person messing with like 2 people.
That's
but
the
now
weirdest
it's 2.
criticism of this story. I mean, I guess I see what you're saying.
I don't see how that would change anything.
I mean, for me, the biggest issue is that I don't know. Like, what's interesting about stories is kind of the human nature aspect when things go wrong, and like why would someone's mother torment them their whole life and say these things? But she never did, and there's nothing to be learned, and it just don't mess with demons.
I think the thing that doesn't add up is that, like, apparently he went to the psychologist when he was 15 at his mother's request. Why didn't the mother go to the psychologist? Like, why didn't they have the talk then?
The lack of communication
like they were both being
between
tormented.
these two people is massive. And,
I think the biggest question is how, if this mother had been tortured for like 20 something years.
Yeah.
I can understand the boy not realizing that his mom isn't aging, but how do you realize my 9-year-old son is still 9 years old 20 years later?
Yeah.
What, are you fucking retarded?
All right. Well, you know what? It's not even worth, like, we get it. It's shit.
This story's a 2. I give it a 2. I give it a D-. Look,
I actually enjoyed it, so I give it a 3, even though the ending was absolutely terrible.
I was kind of getting creeped out.
Yeah, I legitimately got creeped out, which is good.
Yeah. The imagery was like fairly on point. It just didn't lead to anything. However, you can't criticize real life though, so I don't know why we're bothering.
I like the story though. Like, generally I did. But it just
needed a better resolution.
It has a few holes and no good ending.
I feel like this story is this person, or God, because God is the one that wrote the story,
right?
In on the canvas that is the universe.
Yeah.
It's like the idea was like, oh, what if like someone's mom appearing and like whispering to them like, I'm gonna kill myself, I'm gonna kill you, their whole life, but it's not actually their mom, and like that's a fine like premise. That's a fine starting point. But it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't resolve itself in anything. There's no...
Well, here. Enough nitpicking about bullshit that's obviously terrible.
Yeah.
So I've got just here's a horror thing. So when I was out looking for stories and interesting things to talk about, I went to a little website called fortune.org/X, the paranormal board, looking for stories. And I just want to say, the biggest, scariest thing about this board is the massive presence of people who have absolutely terrible, sad, tragic lives who are looking to offset it onto mysterious beings and God, or literally aliens or demons.
Are these
things of that nature?
How much of this is
Stop blaming my people.
I have no idea, Ben. I have no idea how much is sincere.
I was gonna say how much of this is like isn't just like role playing, you know, like how much of this isn't just suspension of disbelief. Because, like,
for example,
on r/no-sleep, there's a rule that's like you are not allowed to say like this didn't happen. You are like the rule of posting here is that you must treat everything as though it is true, because this is like a fiction board, but like
that's just the thing. Here's one such post that I very much enjoyed. It's a picture of a man firing guns into the air. And it just says, the subject is, how do I kill God? I want my fucking freedom. I'm going to take that sadistic fuck out like his last name is Kennedy.
Okay.
That's terrible.
No. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm not even American, and that's terrible.
A man died,
fucking Massachusetts. I don't give a shit. Whatever. The man's dead. It's fine. Well, there's a bunch of them who died.
You don't look. We all remember where we were when Kennedy was assassinated. Okay, it was our 9/11. I mean boomers.
Well, yeah, okay. So I was looking for lots of internet stories because I have tough times with anything that seems even a little bit supernatural, because I just can't get into it because I'm literally too big-brained. That's my problem. But here's a story I liked from
Wait, what was the
post.
point of that image of the guy trying to kill God?
Oh, well, that was just the point of that was an example of the sad tale of the residents of the paranormal board on 4chan. That's all.
But that just seemed like a funny meme.
Well, that was an example of a clear joke. But there are posts that are actually very sad about people who have terminal illnesses. There was one, and this could have been a joke, but it was a thread, how do I make myself immortal? Seems like a joke, but the actual content was, I have cancer, and I'm dying, and I'm really scared and sad, and how do I extend my life, guys? And,
oh, God.
who knows how much of that is sincere? I don't know.
Okay.
And then here's another one, which is just a thread of the pictures of like blue screen shit. And it's just about a guy saying, why is everything always fucking against me? Nothing turns out right. Even the simplest of reasonable expectations turn ugly and fuck me over. And then he goes on to talk about his medical issues and shit, and it's just real sad. I
mean...
And I wonder how many people just come to this place to kind of... I guess it's okay to kind of just fantasize for a little while.
Why on X? Why are they talking about this on X, though?
I think because they want supernatural kind of answers. That's my guess. I don't know. It's spooky and sad in my.
I don't know. As someone who's only ever experienced success, I can't really relate to people that have problems like these.
That's understandable. Okay, well here's an actual story. I'll let you people judge it. This isn't a traditional one, but I liked this and I enjoyed reading it very much. This is just some post. This actually wasn't even on X, but it was collected there. So, all right. So it's just a guy telling a story at a convention, and here it goes. So I'm in the dealer's room. Oh, it's actually a girl, by the way. I'm in the dealer's room looking for some trinkets to bring home when I ran into some people I knew from high school.
Wait, was this at a con?
It's at a con. That's right. So
an anime con? A pony con?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm
it's like a
envisioning
game, anime, whatever, something like that.
I'm envisioning BronyCon, just so you know.
The attached picture is a picture of like a guy in like Master Chief type armor or something. So, imagine people like that are there.
Sure.
So ran into some people from high school. Now, back then, I only remember having worked on an in-class project with one of them. Yet somehow, all four shout my name like I'm their long-lost best friend. The girl has this flat face that looks something like Crookshanks from Harry Potter. And the three guys are skinny tall, and fat respectively. They are cosplaying as Bleach characters. Now, These are the kind of con-goers that smell awful, and are vocal as fuck about everything. They exuded an almost tangible aura of awkwardness. I start to get nervous when they begin touching me too much, getting uncomfortably in my personal space. Just wrong behavior for someone you don't really know. I leave the dealer's room and move on to the main floor of the convention, trying to lose them. If someone says goodbye and turns away and left you mid-sentence, wouldn't you get the hint that they don't want to talk to you anymore? Apparently they didn't, because the group starts trailing me. I start jogging to the elevator, and they take this as a fucking chase her down and rape her signal, because amid squeals and grunts, the four start screaming and running after me. When the doors open shortly before I reach them, out of the elevator comes this guy, dressed like Pick-related, so Master Chief, basically. I dash into the elevator when I turn to see the group just about to get to the Halo guy stepping out and fucking smashes his fist into the tall guy's face. Dead silence. He then presses the closed doors button as I move to the second floor. I wish I had said thank you or something, but I just stood there quietly and disappeared. I didn't see him or the group again for the rest of the con, or ever again. That's the full story.
Damn, talk about finishing the fight, am I right?
He's right. That's just a beautiful, heartwarming story that I love.
The guy really had the eye of the tiger.
Hashtag beat nerds. Hashtag beat nerds.
Wait.
That's what we need.
So they were in she went into an empty hallway and they just started chasing her?
She says goodbye, and they start to absolutely spaz out and actually scream and chase her, and it makes her scared, and she's running away.
This story definitely happened.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably some exaggeration going on here, but isn't it just such a beautiful image of a bunch of Bleach cosplayers chasing, in my mind, a QT anime girl?
There's something heartwarming about the image of a bunch of fucking shitty Eastaboo faggots.
Yeah.
Getting their shit rocked by bastion of Western culture, Master Chief. Showing them who the master race is.
That's true. It is a beautiful image.
I'll give you a hint, folks. It's not the Japanese. That's all I'm saying.
Is Master Chief white? Do we know his ethnicity?
He was made by white people, so that's
good enough.
Important.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was made by white science.
If he's not white, it's only because white people did another race a favor. It was only by our race.
He was an affirmative action hire.
He was a diversity hire. He's green. He's green.
That's true. Okay. I mean, let's go around. Who's got another one?
I can go, I guess.
Yeah, please do.
All right. So I got before I go, I got main story, and then I got some of those creepy 2-sentence horror stories.
Okay.
Those ones are good. I'll just start with those, I guess. I just found a couple that were interesting.
Sure.
Here's one. My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave to ask her to stop, but it doesn't help.
Ooh,
Lol.
I'm hooked.
That's good.
I like those stories. Yeah, there was I think a fad at some point to tell stories like spooky stories
that
within
was
one
it?
sentence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole story.
Oh, I get it. Okay,
hook's
I
embedded in there.
got it. I
Two-sentence
got
horror
it. It's
stories.
a minimalist.
I really,
yeah.
really like that because like you have to have like some good creativity to tell like a legit spooky story like within one sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With some
it's
more
yeah.
time.
pretty
This
cool.
is good.
The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door.
Oh, the sun will come out
That actually gave me a
tomorrow.
little chill. Actually, I'm not kidding. That one worked. That one did it for me.
It's good, right?
Do you have more?
I got a couple more.
Okay. There's a one I really like, but I don't remember what it is. I wonder if you.
Is it the for sale baby shoes never worn?
I don't
Oh,
think that
that's
was.
just sad.
Yeah.
You guys heard that one before?
Yeah, I've heard it before, but I don't think that's it.
There's a story behind it. Like I think it was like a challenge, like Ernest Hemingway or someone, like some famous author was like,
yeah.
he did it as like a
tragedy
bet.
in one sentence or something.
Yeah, like it could. I bet
I
you
just
couldn't like.
said that there was a fad at some point in time.
Well, okay,
where
we're talking
people
about
said-
No,
Edgar
this
Allan
there's
Poe
there's
or
a there's a
whatever.
specific. Hang on, I'm gonna look up who wrote For Sale Baby Shoes.
Okay, in the
Never-
meantime, let's
yeah.
let Tom keep going here.
All right. I begin tucking him into my bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed."
Ah! Oof. I like it.
Which one do you shoot?
That's a good question.
You have twins now. It's gonna get weird.
Maybe the secret was you had twins and your wife didn't tell you, and now
Okay.
she's just been goofing you.
Apparently, the story is of uncertain origin, often attributed to Ernest Hemingway, but similar stories predate him, so never
okay,
mind.
okay.
Yeah.
The doctors told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time. Nobody prepared him for the moment, though, when he felt cold fingers brush across his phantom hand.
That's like a double ghost.
A ghost just wanted to hold his hand. Maybe it was a nice, friendly ghost.
That's sweet.
No, they're cold. That's
well,
it. That's
ghosts
evil.
are cold.
Ghosts
Look,
have bad
there's a
circulation.
couple of things, a couple of telltale signs that something's evil. One, it's cold. Two, it has a red lightsaber. I think that's it, actually.
Ghosts can't help it. They don't have a pulse.
Well, that's true. Got any more,
Is it?
Tom?
I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I had known I would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead.
I saw that one coming.
Yeah, I was gonna
saw
say
it
I
coming.
saw that one coming. I mean, well, we're prepared now. We're prepared.
Hey,
So-
I've got a little micro one as well that I prepared.
Okay.
Well, here,
Yeah.
I'll read mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so here
Yeah,
it is.
I got one too. When you're
So
done.
you're with your honey, and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it, and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell her, girl, and say, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone? That's the story.
I got a little micro horror story.
Okay.
You ready?
Women's rights.
The scariest thing of
Man,
all.
this isn't a comedy show. This is a horror show.
Vote
I guess
no,
it's
people.
both. I guess
Vote
it's
no. Vote no on women's
Vote
suffrage
no.
in
Vote
your
no on
upcoming
Prop W.
elections. Write your congressman.
All right, I got one. It sat on my shelf with thoughtless porcelain eyes and the prettiest pink doll dress I could find. Why did she have to be stillborn?
Ugh.
That's creepy.
That is creepy. I don't like it.
I'm gonna puke.
I'm the pig. I'm the pig.
I'm gonna puke.
I have been shooketh because I think there was a stillborn child in my family, so it's
Oh,
Oh,
that sucks.
no, not my immediate family, like my, I think it was
It's
my
not
mother's brother.
It's not that uncommon. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not too rare.
My
Miscarriages
uncle's
in
child.
general. Yeah. Does that count as a miscarriage, or is that like its own thing? Is it under the
A
umbrella of
stillbirth
miscarriage?
a stillbirth is a miscarriage. Well, maybe
okay,
maybe
alright,
stillbirth
fair.
is one that like gets to a certain term or whatever.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
actually, I know. I think the doctors kind of screwed up and the child died, suffocated.
Oh shit! Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay.
There's a serious story
I don't
for you.
mean to be an actual sociopath here, but real question: why we let ourselves get attached to a baby before it's actually born?
Instincts.
Well,
You're
what
right.
do you
That's
mean
exactly
why?
what it is.
Yeah, there's no like logical reason for it.
Okay, but if we could logic our way to a position, it would make sense to not get attached until, it's 18 or so. That would
well, I mean,
right? Am I wrong?
if we could, if things were
Our
logical,
attach-
if life
our
were all about
attachment
logical,
is protecting
I
it.
wouldn't.
The
I wouldn't
only
be- I wouldn't-
reason we're protecting it and helping it grow is because we are attached to it. Otherwise, like.
Well, I want to continue my genetic legacy.
Okay,
There's
All
no-
that.
there's no logical
Nate,
reason
Nate,
why I-
here's a
God
perspective,
damn it.
though.
Okay.
After 9 months of torture and then, 1 to 2 days of hell torture, you probably don't want
Yeah.
to go through that again
It's
when
the
you
sunk,
screw
it's
up.
The sunk,
so
it's
you
the
kind
sunk
of
cost effect, dude.
you kind of get invested in the one you have.
You literally,
Yeah.
you literally are born into this world like babies, like the moms are just sort of automatically inflicted with Stockholm syndrome for their children
More or
that they've
less.
been at the mercy of for this whole time. They've got the sunk cost effect. They've invested all this in because it's such a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not always, though. Some mothers are terrible, like just
But
dumping
life's
their babies
life's
in
not
trash.
life's not all about logic, Nate. There's no
Is there
logical reason
anything
why I toke up
scarier
at
than
420
parenthood?
every night and blaze hard on that dank weed, but I do it
I think
anyway.
there's some very logical reasons.
Yeah, you know what? I take back what I said. It's literally the only thing that makes any sense in this crazy old mixed up world. It's my anchor. It's my rock.
Yeah.
So
who's next?
I actually
I-
only prepared one story because we said
We did
one
say
story
only one.
each.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We
I,
did.
Do you-
I
do
happened
you-
to
well,
prepare a bunch of little ones. So.
do you have any more like fucking like hometown, home country like folk tales or ghost stories?
I have the page open and I could translate one, but it's ridiculous and
Yeah,
not so scary.
That sounds good. Let's do
That
it.
does sound interesting, at the very
Okay.
least.
Okay, again, I'm translating it live, so I'm gonna stutter, so I
Sure, no
apologize.
rush.
So once upon a time, in a cabin in the woods, there lived a mouse, a bird, and a sausage. Yes, it was alive. It was a sausage that was alive. I know, it's ridiculous.
Nice. Okay, I really
okay.
like
I'm
this.
already
every-
into this.
Yeah.
So every one of them
Relatable.
had their own job to do. The bird
What?
would gather wood. The mouse would bring water and make sure the fireplace was going, and the sausage cooked food. So they all
Sure.
lived happily.
Sure.
However,
Yeah.
one time, while he was gathering wood, the bird met his friend, who, when heard about the chores that the three had, started berating the bird because he was working so hard while the sausage and the mouse were just lazing about. After all the mouse had to do was just put on the fire and get the water. Whereas the sausage owl all she had to do was just stand by the stove. So the next day, the bird told the sausage and the mouse that he's not going to be a servant no more. So he wants to change the positions, their chores around. The two were a bit reluctant, but they agreed. So the sausage went out to gather the wood. But even the next day, it didn't return. So the bird went out to look for her, and when he went out, he saw a dog, and the dog was carrying the sausage with him. And the bird pleaded for the dog to let the sausage go because it was his friend. However, the dog says the sausage did not have the proper documents, so it had to die.
What the fuck?
I know.
Of course. Oh, that's how they always get you.
Yeah.
Dogs are notoriously sticklers for paperwork and bureaucracy.
The dejected bird went back home, However, back at home, it was even worse because the mouse, who was trying to cook food, fell into the water and she boiled alive.
Oh my god!
Without being able to find the mouse, the bird went through the wood that he gathered. But while he was scattering it about, he hit the stove and started a fire, and the bird tried to get the water, tried to get some water from the well. However, the bucket fell into the well with the bird along with it, and the bird didn't get out of the well and he drowned. The end.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
What's the moral of this story?
Everyone,
I think the moral about
be
doing
happy
your
with
duty.
be happy with what you got.
Why was it a sausage?
I don't
sausage
know. Why did the sausage not have papers?
Okay, I thought this was gonna be like a give a man a fish, teach a man to fish kind of story, where the sausage is the cook, but they get hungry one day and they eat the sausage because they're hungry, but then because they ate the sausage, they have no more food because the sausage used to cook for them.
Him being a sausage was relatively incidental to the plot.
Totally,
I know.
yeah, no, absolutely no point.
I have no idea.
I liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. It was an undocumented sausage.
Like I told you guys with these fairy tales, you just don't question it. You just go with it.
Undocumented.
It wasn't like normal American bacon. It was like Canadian bacon that had jumped the border.
Yeah.
It's no good.
Oh man.
Sausage.
So all right. So I've been looking at I've been looking at reddit.com/r/no sleep.
No.
I switched
would
over
like to sleep.
Well, that's where those other two came from, so, no biggie so far. I switched over to r/let's not meet, which do you guys know about Let's Not Meet?
I don't, no.
It's scary stories, but it's like real scary stories of of creepy people that you have encountered in the real world.
Makes
right?
sense.
So, hold on. I'm gonna try and pick a short. Okay, this one's pretty short. So this is the top one in the last month. This is called Had an Incredibly Frightening Experience Last Night. Wanted to know if anyone here has ever had a similar encounter. So last night, I was at a classmate's house working on a group project we have due tomorrow. I live in an apartment in the town where our university is located, and my classmate lives at his parents' house, which is in the foothills just outside of town. In order to get to the house, you have to drive along a relatively secluded and narrow 2-lane road for about 5 or 6 miles. We started working on the project at around 6 p.m., and I ended up hanging around for a while after we'd finished working. So I left his house pretty late, about 11, and started down the road back towards town. I didn't realize how tough it would be to navigate the road at night. There were no streetlights, and the road was unkept and riddled with potholes. On top of this, I had no cell service, so I had to drive very slowly to make sure I didn't blow out one of my tires, since I had used my spare a couple weeks back. I figure I was about 3 miles from the house when I rounded a tight corner and saw a pickup truck with a camper shell parked diagonally across the road. The manner in which it was parked completely impeded my path, and I couldn't drive around because there was a gully on both sides of the road. The only way for me to go at this point was backwards. There was a pull-off that I could use to turn my car around. At first I couldn't see inside the cab, but when I turned on my high beams, I saw there was a man slouched over in the driver's seat, his head resting against the steering wheel as if he had been knocked out after a bad accident. I immediately sensed something was wrong, the way his car had just coincidentally come to rest in a position that totally blocked the road, and that was a big red flag for me. I'd heard stories of people playing dead in the road as a way to lure unsuspecting people out of their cars so they could rob them. I decided, fuck this shit, in quotes, and elected to go back to my classmate's house and explain what was going on. I threw the car into reverse and kept my eyes darting back and forth between my rear view and the truck. I looked and saw that I was almost to the pull-off where I could turn around. When I looked back, my heart skipped about 5 beats. The man who'd been slouched over in the driver's seat was now walking at my car at a hurried pace, while a few other men jumped out of the camper shell and started moving toward me as well. Oh, I panicked and accelerated backwards into the pull-off, which messed up the undercarriage of my car pretty bad. As I put it into the drive, the guy was already at my passenger side door tugging on the handle, which, thank the Lord, was locked. I caught a brief glimpse of him, but his face appeared to be scabbed and leathery. Definitely a meth head or some sort of drug abuser. I sped away and didn't slow down at all till I reached the house, constantly checking my rear view to see if they were following. Thankfully, they didn't tail me, and when I reached the house, I explained what had happened to my classmate, and we called the cops. I was grateful that my buddy's parents were kind enough to let me stay the night. They didn't find anyone on the road matching the description, but I filed an incident report, and they told me they would be on the lookout for similar vehicles and suspicious activity. But holy shit, I'm still so shook up over it. I keep getting the same adrenaline rush I got when I saw the guy charging me whenever I think about it. Please share similar experiences you've had. I'd appreciate a good read or a good discussion to help clear my headspace! !
That is spooky.
It is spooky. It is spooky. I find a lot of the stories on, like, that have, like, one spooky moment. I find a lot of the stories on r/Let's Not Meet suffer for just, like, sort of a glut of, like, establishing information.
Sure.
These are ostensibly stories from people's real lives, and I feel like people overestimate the importance of saying, like, you know, why was I at my friend's house? What project were we working on? How long was the road? What was the geography of the situation? And sometimes it's relevant.
Everyone's favorite subject is themselves. So if they can, you know, kind of incorporate that in, they probably enjoy it.
I feel it's more like they're trying to make sense or to.
Yeah. I think the intention is to, like, explain it all fully, so, like, you know, you get the full picture of what's going on.
So people feel like, why were you driving there? Where are you going? Where did you
I think it's also to, like, lull you into a false sense of security, like, to set the tension, because you know something spooky's going to happen.
Yeah, you're painting the picture,
so you're just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's I think you can definitely go too far, but I think having a little bit of, like, tenseness of, like, things being normal for a while is a good way to set the stage.
Did this story gain anything from including the paragraph at the end where he says that they called the cops, the cops didn't find anyone matching the description, but he filed an incident report, and they told him that they would be on the lookout for suspicious activity?
Well,
I mean, no, you could have wrapped that up
anything to the story.
No, but you think of it this way. This isn't like in r/whatever spooky stories or whatever. This is where they're telling an actual story, supposedly, that they happened, and you know, people are going to ask, what happened next? What did you do? Or something like that. And they did want to have a discussion. Yeah, they did want to have a discussion about this. So I guess they preemptively told what happened next so people wouldn't have to ask about it.
That's true. Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's too... Well, I think... I understand that, and it does make sense. It's too bad, though, because I think as spook fodder, I think...
Yeah, if it had been a spooky story, I would suggest cutting that part out. Just, you know, I was spooked to the end.
Let me try, maybe I can find a really short one. Creeped out by the one meant to make us feel safe, by I Wish I Was a Pumpkin. This happened sometime in 2011. I had been married for a little, a good 3/4 of these are, you know, women getting creeped on by men in public, like creepy guys who, like, you know, are make them feel uncomfortable at night, like on a lonely street or whatever. There's a lot of that. I'd been married for a little over a year and had given birth to my son a couple months prior. I was 23 and had just been working in a hospital while I took classes to finish my degree and hopefully apply for the police academy. I'd met one of the security guards named Joe a few times as I frequently assisted in the ER with various tasks. As I got to know him, he had a son a little younger than mine and was a veteran also applying to police academies, and we formed a friendship. We exchanged numbers as he offered to help me train and give me pointers for the physical portion of the police test, since I was out of shape after having a baby. One day while talking to him, I mentioned how where I would study when on break was so loud, and I wish I could find a quiet place to sit. He offered to give me a tour and show me some of the hidden places employees would use. It was a Sunday, so the hospital was quiet, and I met up with him. We walked around, and he showed me great areas and offered to show me where the helipad was. We went through the areas that were blocked to most staff. As we climbed the stairs and got closer to the roof, I started to feel anxious and felt my stomach drop. I couldn't explain it and felt fear as we got closer. I admit I'm afraid of heights, and I thought maybe that was it, but when we got on the roof, the fear got stronger, but it was directed towards Joe. Something was off, and I had this feeling that at any moment he might try something and push me over the edge of the building. I had to get out of there. Fortunately, at that moment, the phone I carried rang, and my coworker wanted to know where I was and if I'd be back soon to help her with something. I told him I had to get back and followed him back out, making sure he was never behind me. After that day, I avoided Joe at work and would only keep text messages short. I felt bad at first, thinking I was overreacting, because he had never done anything to make me feel that way. As time went on, the text became more frequent, and he would try to ask me what I was wearing. I told him it was inappropriate, as we were both married. I didn't tell my husband at the time any of this, because he was very short-tempered, and I knew would just blame me. Dump him. At work, whenever he showed up, I'd hide as best as I could, or tell him I can't walk before hurry off. I started seeing him more frequently and felt he was everywhere, just lingering like he was waiting for me. Finally, one of my coworkers, Stan, asked me about it, and I confided in him what was going on. I told him how I was scared to report him because he was part of security. I also mentioned how I would see him sometimes when I would leave at night around midnight, and was scared that one night he'd be waiting by my car, even though he didn't know what kind of car I drive. After that, Stan walked me to my car every night I worked, since we had the same shifts together. After he noticed I was never alone, he stopped bothering me. A few months later, I found out he was fired for harassing another girl who had the courage I didn't have to report him. I feel bad that I didn't speak up at the time and someone else had to experience it. So, Joe, I hope we never meet again, and I hope you never got into a police academy.
I don't understand what he did wrong.
I guess, okay, yeah, like at first, I guess she just got a vague, creepy feeling
That he was going to throw her off the roof.
Well, yeah, he probably
Women,
wasn't going to do
right?
that. But something vague just made her uncomfortable.
Well, that's
so she
fine.
got out of there, and she felt bad, thinking that he hadn't actually done anything. But then later, he turned out to be sort of a vague creep because he would like hit on her, kinda. And,
How much do you
That's
think
not
she
cool
just
if you tell him
changed
not
her
to.
memories after learning this information later to like
You-
reframe
like-
things?
like now that she thinks he's a creep, she
Yeah.
remembers the event
Yeah.
as him being creepy.
Yep.
That's what everybody does.
It's possible, yeah. Yeah, this was a boring story.
Hey, I believe that she was creeped out. I believe
Sure.
her.
Yeah.
I guess
have
that's really
to.
all I have to say.
I mean, this guy should fucking step off if she's like, leave me alone. Her husband sounds
she
like a
says at one
fucking
point
dick.
that
Her
she,
husband
like-
sounds like a fucking dick. What the fuck? That's actually the thing that upsets me the most about this story.
Well-
I can't tell my husband that a man at work keeps hitting on me. He'll blame me. What the fuck?
Okay, but like that's her
what are the odds that
perception
that's
of her
true?
husband. That's her
That's
perception
true.
of her husband.
That's
like
true.
That's-
it could
okay,
not
fair.
be true.
She is making a lot of assumptions. Maybe she's assuming
Well,
about her husband as well.
Okay, well, even if her husband's not like that, the fact that she thinks that means something's wrong here. Something's fucked up.
yeah,
Not
I
necessarily
agree.
with him, though.
No, not necessarily with him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of no sleep, or a lot of let's not meet is this kind of thing. Just
Yeah.
like a story of a girl deciding, like learning that a guy was actually creepy all along.
Whoa, what a twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually wanted to fuck the
Oh,
whole
I've
time.
got it's sort of a scary story. It's kind of an interesting story. This was my favorite one, directly related to, to 4chan. In this
Nice.
case, it was posted on Poll, which is interesting context
Oh,
for the
God.
story. But here, let me read it for you.
I already told the story.
This one's interesting. Okay, so basically, just one day, July 21st, 2014. Oh, and by the way, I completely ripped off this story. I was just trying to find interesting stories. This is stolen directly from this guy. Oh, I was hoping Munchie would be here because this guy's name on YouTube is B Busta. Is his name?
Ooh.
So there you go.
My interest is piqued.
Yeah, and he does like scary stories. There's a compilation one.
Guys,
So
guys, that reminds me.
Yeah.
Keep the links where you got your stories from.
Oh sure, I've got this one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, we'll do. So one day on Poll, all of a sudden there is a post. Again, this is July 21st, 2014, and this is at right about 1 p.m. This is posted, and the title is "Goodbye IDF Deserter," or it's the Israeli Defense Force deserter. And here's what the post said.
Wait, this was on Poll?
This was on Poll. That's right.
Oh
It was on
man,
Poll.
here we go.
And it's Israeli, which is interesting. And this is what the person said. And you can even see the flag in the post. It is an Israeli flag, though that can be faked. But nonetheless, it says there's an image that says goodbye, and the comment is, "I can't take this anymore, guys. Me and my squad were ordered to demolish a hotel because it was supposedly a, quote, Hamas de facto HQ, unquote. I know this is not true because I was sent to that hospital on an undercover mission not too long ago, and there was nothing there, just the nice staff. I left the battlefield as I know the true intentions of the higher-ups. I will probably be tortured and left in jail for quite a while for deserting, but I don't care anymore. Too much innocent blood on my hands. Goodbye, Pole. I've had a fun time hanging here. Don't give up hope, and I hope you live a good life. So that was the post.
So what's gonna happen to him? Is he gonna like go to jail for like disobeying orders?
He says that he will be tortured and left in jail for a long time for deserting. And the Israelis don't play with their military.
This is an Israeli guy. Okay.
Indeed, he would go on to post a picture of his dog tags, his Israeli passport, and with like the words 4chan IDF deserter written. So it certainly seems authentic.
I think this is a way of like covering his tracks, so like getting the story out there, right? To like
maybe
to like expose the injustice that he feels that he is about to be subject to.
That's I suppose partially at least, yeah. So and then now this is where it's interesting. 1.5 hours later, at 2:30 on that same day, July 21st, 2014, there's an article posted. I forget what it's linked in the video. I'll give a link to it. Called Gaza Conflict. 5 dead at hospital hit by Israeli strike. It says, Paul Adams reports from the almost deserted streets of Sahaf in Gaza, where rockets are coming all the time. At least 5 people have been killed and 70 injured in an Israeli strike in Gaza, Palestinians say. And that's all the information that's there. But this was an hour and a half later, this video, or this images and the story was posted, after this Israeli soldier says that he's gonna abandon
Ben,
ship.
are you clipping your nails?
Sorry.
That is
what a scary story.
I mean that's the whole story though. But this was posted on Poll, and based on everything, it seems credible that the Israelis are doing some crazy stuff over there. Who knows?
Is that just war? Is that just what war is like?
War is like that. Yes, you kill innocent people sometimes.
Why were they if it wasn't a hotbed for, I don't remember what he said it was supposed to be.
Well,
but if it wasn't that,
to
I
get
wonder
the
why
political side of it a little bit.
It could be the blow to morale. You destroy hospitals and civilians and stuff too.
I mean, the situation in Gaza is such that both Israelis and Palestinians like claim it and want that to be part of their country, and so like they will do things to drive the others out. So if you just don't want the Palestinians there, blowing up a hospital full of their sick and injured, certainly is a way to disincentivize living there.
Surprised only 5 people died from
I know.
And like 92 injured or something.
Well, it was.
Right?
I guess it wasn't blown up, but it was hit by a strike. Now, again,
if it's a hospital, were they already injured? Who knows?
This was posted on Poll. Poll is not the biggest fan of the Jews.
No.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
Not.
So, and this story is anti-Israel. So who can say? But this was this like?
I mean, was this like a verified news outlet, or what, like was the story verified?
This was posted by. Let me see. I've got it right here.
Like not the original post, but I mean like the follow-up, like
right, the news story.
The
news story came from. Let me see. Listen to it right now. Shit, I don't know, but I'm gonna link the video so people can check. All right. Well, that's it. That's the story.
Maybe that's where you're. Okay, well, Tom, can we end after Tom?
Sure.
Yeah, I got one more thing. This isn't like a super spooky story in and of itself, but it's the first part of a series. It's unironically one of my favorite stories called Tales from the Gas Station. So I just want to shill it while I have.
I feel like I've heard of that.
It's really fucking good. The guy's actually releasing a full novel on Amazon on Halloween. So in a week, that it continues a story he's been telling for the last year on our No Sleep, and it's fucking dope.
Tell me about Tales from the Gas Station. I think I've heard of it before.
I mean, you might have heard of it because I did a 3D model of the main character a couple months back.
Oh, yeah. So that might be it. That's probably it.
I do dig it. It's like a horror story, but it's also got comedic elements to it. It kind of breaks tropes of horror stories. It's good. So this This is just the first like short introductory part to give people a taste, and I'll link it in the video so all of you can read it and buy his book because it's fucking sick.
There was a story that I listened to. I listened to it narrated on YouTube. I think I found it on like r/creepypasta or something. It was like a 3-hour long like story. I think it was called Baraska, and it's a story of like kids in this town, kids in some like backwater town in like Alaska or something. And they have like a secret clubhouse, and I don't know. It's this big weird like they hear noises from the woods, and there's a whole thing. They got like all the townspeople. It turns out it's like a big conspiracy, and every townsperson is in on it. And there's like a fucking like secret hospital deep in the woods where they're like kidnapping women and like keeping them as breeding sows for like the rich guy who owns the whole town or something. And it's a big cover up. Yeah. But it was a pretty good story. Yeah. I mean, it had the kind of dumb, like, it was rape, guys. The punchline is that it was all rape, which was kind of a lame ending, but, it's just kind of a gross shock ending. But, like, up until that, it had a good, like, small town, like, Stephen King kind of, like, kids solving a mystery sort of vibe to it. Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. That's. I don't even know. What was the point? Never mind.
Don't know.
Why did I even talk about that? Nobody cares.
All right, I will. This story is still ongoing, but like there's like little sub stories that have ended. So if you want like actual like full stories, you can go read it. But yeah, this is just the beginning. All right. At the edge of our town, there's a shitty gas station that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you were to go inside, you'd see row after row of off-brand chips, cookies, potted meats, and pickled curiosities.
Potted meats?
Potted meats. Expiration dates suspiciously
sounds
missing.
keto as fuck.
Exactly. Expiration dates suspiciously missing from the canned goods, like they were filed off years ago in some misguided attempt to control inventory turnover. A faded, wet floor sign from the back covers a large crack in the foundation by the cooler, where layers of sticky spill-off have formed a miniature tar pit, preserving countless insect corpses and the occasional small rodent. Nobody ever complains about the aesthetic. By some providence bordering on the supernatural, the health inspector has repeatedly signed off on the building, always kindly ignoring the faint smell of some kind of mysterious chemical cocktail that is a defining characteristic of the establishment. More noticeable than the steady mechanical hum of the frozen drink machine that was installed in the 70s and never once serviced. More distracting than the random pockets of cold and warm air that seem to follow you around. And more annoying than the family of mutated raccoons that live in the crawl space beneath the grease trap. We think they're mutated anyways. At the very least, they must be inbred to the point of genetic deformity and mental retardation. The alpha, a muscular 3-foot-tall son of a bitch named Rocco, has been spotted multiple times chewing on people's tires and been run over at least twice, but he keeps coming back. That lingering smell, a sweet combination of honeysuckle, ammonia, and vomit, has never been positively identified, but the prevalent theory is that it's coming from underground, wafting up through a thin fissure in the concrete that grows and spreads with each year of architectural settling. It's strongest right after a rain, and pungent to the point of tear-inducing if you get too close to the storm drains, where even Rocco and his clan refuse to tread. If you're to go inside, you'd also see the bathroom cowboy. He's sort of an urban legend around here, only ever appearing when you're alone and unsuspecting. What makes him truly legendary are the stories people tell after an alleged encounter. The accounts run the gamut from pretty weird to impossibly bizarre. Like the last guy months ago who went for a pee but changed his mind when he saw him standing there in the next urinal wearing a duster, bandana, boots, and chaps handing out balloon animals. Or a couple weeks later when another customer stepped into the same bathroom to see a man wearing nothing but a cowboy hat, boxers, and boots with spurs, literally grinding an axe on an old-fashioned stone sharpening wheel. When he entered, the cowboy stopped what he was doing, looked up at him with a smile with the tip of his hat and said, "Come on, man. Come on with it." If you should be lucky enough to see the cowboy that may or may not haunt the bathroom, don't worry, he's harmless, and in fact usually quite polite. Honestly, he doesn't seem so bad, especially compared to some of the other things going on in this place. When you go inside, you might instantly get a toothache. That's a strangely common phenomenon that nobody really understands. It should go away in about an hour on its own. If you do go inside, you will almost definitely see me sitting behind the counter, because I am the only full-time employee, and I'm almost always here. You may catch me reading a book because, for some reason, the internet doesn't work way out here, and cell phone service is dicey on good days and non-existent on most. If you need to make a call, you can leave and go up the hill a ways, preferably back towards town, because the other way will take you into the woods, and you do not even want me to go into all the reasons that's not a good idea. Or, you could pay me 25 cents a minute and use the store's landlines. The arrangement was cooked up by the owners, and I actually have to enforce it because they do check the phone records. I'm sorry. While you're here, don't be offended if I don't strike up conversation, because if I'm being completely honest, I don't always know for sure if everyone who comes through those doors is real or not, and if I had to acknowledge everyone in this place that could be an actual person, I might lose my mind. And we don't need any more of that going on around here. I guess the point I'm trying to make is this. Weird things happen to me working at the shitty gas station at the edge of town. I wish I could tell you the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, but I doubt I could ever decide. There's just way too many. I've seen a total of 4 coffins inside the store on 3 different occasions. I've met at least a dozen people wandering back into town from the woods claiming they had escaped aliens or government conspiracies and the like, but they had no money and needed to make a call, and could I please just let them use the store's phone before they find them again? But rules are rules, and I'm not inclined to lose my job just because you didn't escape captivity with a little pocket change. And then, of course, there was Farmer Brown. Yeah, that's his real name, who got mad at us and complained about the bulk feed we'd ordered for him. He insisted something was wrong with the product because, as he put it, all of his animals suddenly had human faces. We settled it with him by charging a significant discount on his next couple purchases. He stopped coming in not long after, but they found what was left of his body inside of a bedroom at a farmhouse that had been locked from the inside. As far as I know, they still haven't figured that one out. Anyways, I guess I can come back and tell a story or two, but first I need to get ready for work. And then there's 8 more parts after that for main story.
Cool.
Ah, that's cool.
Read more
Spooky.
in the links below.
Yeah.
Does that require a purchase, like actual money?
The main book that's coming out will, but all of these are for free, and they're also been narrated on YouTube, so you can listen to them if you don't want to read them.
All right, folks.
I'm an audiobook fan.
This episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast bonus is brought to you by Audible.com. Please go to audible.com/theprocrastinators. Get your free audiobook, first one for free.
I wish that was true.
We should actually have that.
I mean, we do get $5 for every person who signs up, so it is...
Wait, is that real?
Yeah, you get $5 for everyone who gets an audiobook from your link.
I should sign up.
Let's be clear. We have not set this up.
Wait,
we would like that to be the case for us if we had a link.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think that was...
I was confused for a minute there.
Yeah.
By the choice of words. Okay.
We don't have it yet, but if we did, we would make $5 a referral.
I wouldn't mind it. I can't wait to sell out, guys. Can't wait.
Yeah.
We have a week. I suppose we
why
could if we
Why are we
wanted
fucking
to.
sponsored by Squarespace yet?
Because we don't have an actual website.
Dude,
we have a website.
That's right. We've been meaning to get a website. We should literally. I hear that Squarespace.com makes it incredibly easy to design professional, high-grade websites for any occasion. You got a wedding.
You should
be got a fucking birthday coming up. Make a website.
We already have a Bluehost account that does have a referral link, and you get like $50 a referral.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You guys got to do your homework.
You're right. You're right.
Go,
we're working hard
Google,
here, but not
type
smart.
how to sell out on YouTube. We need ideas, people.
Yeah. Leave your comments below about how we can sell out more effectively. But in the meantime, I sure enjoyed those spooky stories, friends and fans.
don't know if I'm gonna sleep tonight.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Maybe many happy pumpkins.
Will this be out on Halloween?
Well, yeah, the plan is that we're going to get out one day early on Hallows Eve itself.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
Enjoy. All right.
That's it. And I hope that you fucking poop your pants in terror.
Thanks for the money. You're a bonus guy. You give us money. Appreciate that. Unless you're a fucking scalper.
Beware the undocumented sausage.
Yes. Rest in peace, Mr. Sausage. All right. We'll see you next episode with another meme real soon. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.